Dr. Han Suji wiped sweat from her forehead as she studied the strange markings on the cave wall. The summer heat was making everyone tired, but she couldn't stop now. After 15 years of searching old mountains and deep caves, she had finally found something real. "Dr. Han, you need to see this," called one of her students. Suji turned away from the wall and walked deeper into the cave, her flashlight beam bouncing off the rocky walls. The cave opened into a large room that wasn't natural. The walls were too smooth, too perfect. In the center stood a tall metal pillar covered in strange symbols. It was unlike anything she had ever seen in her years as a scientist who studied ancient ruins. "It's not Korean, Chinese, or Japanese," she said, touching the smooth surface. To everyone's surprise, the metal felt warm, and tiny waves of light moved away from her fingers like ripples in water. "This isn't human-made at all." Within hours, the cave was full of scientists and government officials. Phones rang constantly as more people arrived. Suji watched as experts from different fields studied the pillar and the room. They brought in machines to scan everything, but none of their equipment could tell them what the metal was made of. Then the aliens arrived. Suji had known about aliens for the past 5 years, like everyone else on Earth. They had come peacefully, sharing some technology and trading with humans. But she had never seen so many different types in one place. A tall, blue-skinned alien named Ral moved toward the pillar. He belonged to a species called the Luminari, known for their great knowledge of science and history. "We have found structures like this on thousands of worlds," he said in perfect English. "But in all our years of study, none of them have ever reacted like this." Suji looked at him with confusion. "What do you mean?" Ral pointed at the pillar, where the ripples of light were still moving from where she had touched it. In all other cases, the structures remained completely dark, dead. But when your hand touched it, he paused, his large eyes blinking rapidly. "This is unprecedented." More aliens tried touching the pillar, using different tools and methods. Nothing happened. But when Suji touched it again, the light shows started immediately. "Dr. Han," said Ral, his voice serious, "your discovery may be the most important finding in the galaxy's history. These structures are older than any known civilization. We call them predecessor sites. For millions of years, the greatest minds in the galaxy have tried to understand them. But it seems," he looked at her hand on the pillar, "only humans can wake them up." Suji felt a shiver run down her spine despite the heat. She looked at the pillar, the strange symbols, and the lights that danced under her fingers. This wasn't just a discovery about the past anymore. This was something that would change humanity's future forever. As she watched more humans test the pillar, each one causing the same reaction, she realized that Earth's place in the galaxy had just changed. They weren't just the new species anymore. They were special in a way no one had expected. "Ral," she asked, "how many of these sites have you found?" "Thousands," he answered, "on nearly every habitable world we've explored." Suji nodded slowly, understanding what this meant. "And now they're all waiting for us, aren't they?" The cave fell quiet as everyone, human and alien alike, thought about what this meant. Humanity had just inherited the greatest mystery in the galaxy, and somehow they were the only ones who could solve it. Suji touched the pillar one more time, watching the lights dance. She had started this day looking for traces of ancient human history. Instead, she had found humanity's future among the stars. Captain Lee Do-hyun stood at the entrance of the cave, watching as teams of workers set up equipment. 1 month had passed since Dr. Han's discovery, and the small cave had turned into a major research site. Lights hung from the ceiling, and computers filled every corner. Captain Lee called Dr. Han Suji, walking toward him with a tablet in her hand. "The Galactic Council representatives are arriving in 10 minutes. Do-hyun nodded, straightening his uniform. As the leader of the international research team, he had to make a good impression. "How many species are coming?" 7 different alien races, Suji answered. "Each one has studied similar sites on other worlds. They're very interested in why humans can activate the technology. Soon, a group of aliens walked into the cave. Do-hyun had seen aliens before, but these were clearly important officials. They wore formal clothes and carried advanced devices. Ral, the blue-skinned luminary, led the group. "Captain Lee," Ral said, bowing slightly, "we thank you for allowing us to visit this site. The luminary have studied predecessor technology for over 2,000 years, but we have never seen anything like what happened here." A tall, silver-skinned alien stepped forward. "I am Vex of the Stellar Academy. We have found 327 sites like this one. All of them are dead. Until now." She looked at the humans in the room with great interest. Do-hyun led the group to the central chamber. The pillar still stood there, now surrounded by scanning equipment. "We've learned that any human can activate it," he explained. "Even children. The lights appear every time we touch it." To demonstrate, he placed his hand on the pillar. Beautiful waves of light spread from his fingers, moving across the surface like water. The aliens watched with amazement. "Incredible," said another alien, this one covered in green scales. "We have tried every known species in the galaxy. None have ever caused such a reaction." Raul moved closer to the pillar, his eyes studying the moving lights. "Captain, we believe there are thousands of these sites across the galaxy. Some are small, like this cave. Others are massive buildings, even entire cities. All of them have been sleeping for millions of years, waiting for humans," Suji added quietly. The aliens shared looks with each other. Do-hyun could tell they were concerned. "Is there a problem?" he asked. Vex spoke carefully. "Captain, you must understand. These sites contain technology far beyond anything we have today. The predecessors were the most advanced civilization ever known. If humans can control their technology..." She paused. "This changes everything. Some species will be afraid," Ral added. "Others will want to use humans to access the sites. Your people must be careful." Do-hyun understood the warning. Earth was still new to galactic politics. This discovery would bring both opportunities and dangers. "We've already found more writing on the walls," Suji said, trying to change the subject. "We think it's some kind of instruction manual." The aliens gathered around her tablet, looking at pictures of the strange symbols. As they talked about possible meanings, Do-hyun touched the pillar again. The lights seemed brighter now, almost eager. He thought about what Ral had said. Thousands of sites waiting across the galaxy. Cities full of advanced technology that only humans could use. Earth's future was about to change forever. "Captain," called one of his team members, "we found something new in the back chamber. You need to see this." Do-hyun looked at Suji, who nodded. Together, they led the group deeper into the cave, ready to uncover more secrets of the ancient builders who had somehow known that humans would one day find their work. Kim Ji-ho rubbed his tired eyes as he cleaned the dust off another section of the wall. As the newest research assistant at the site, he often worked late into the night. Most of the important people had gone home, leaving only a few security guards and maintenance workers. The cave walls were covered in strange symbols that glowed faintly when humans touched them. Ji-ho had spent weeks carefully cleaning each section so the scientists could study them better. Tonight, he was working on a particularly dirty corner that everyone had overlooked. As he wiped away years of dust, his cloth caught on something. It felt different from the rest of the wall. Ji-ho leaned closer, shining his flashlight on the spot. There was a small indent about the size of his palm. "That's odd," he muttered, pressing his hand against it to clean it better. Suddenly, the entire wall lit up with bright blue light. The ground began to shake slightly, and a deep humming sound filled the cave. Ji-ho jumped back, dropping his cleaning supplies. "Security! Someone get security!" he shouted, backing away from the glowing wall. The guards ran in, followed by the few scientists who were still working late. Among them was Dr. Han Suji, who had been studying some new photographs in her office. "Ji-ho, what did you do?" Suji asked, staring at the wall in amazement. "I was just cleaning. I found a hand-shaped mark and touched it," he explained, his heart still racing. The humming grew louder, and more sections of the wall began to glow. Then, slowly, part of the wall started to move. It split down the middle and slid apart, revealing a hidden room that had been sealed for millions of years. "Call Captain Lee and the Galactic Council representatives immediately," Sujai ordered one of the guards. She turned to Jai-Ho. "Show me exactly what you touched." Jai-Ho led her to the hand-shaped indent. It was still glowing brightly. Sujai studied it carefully, taking pictures with her tablet. "This isn't just a random mark," she said. "This is a control panel. The predecessors built it specifically to fit a human hand." Within an hour, the cave was full of people again. Captain Lee Do-hyun arrived with Ral and other alien scientists. They all watched in amazement as more humans tried the control panel, each touch causing different reactions from the technology. "Remarkable," Ral said, his blue skin glowing in the light from the walls. "This proves it wasn't just a coincidence. The predecessors designed their technology to work only with human neural patterns. They knew that someday humans would find it." "But why?" asked Jai-Ho, still shocked that his simple cleaning job had led to such a discovery. "Why only humans?" "That's what we need to find out," Captain Lee said, walking toward the newly revealed room. "Dr. Han, would you like to do the honors?" Sujai stepped into the room first, followed by the others. Inside, they found rows of strange machines. Each one started to hum and glow as the humans approached. "This is just the beginning," Ral said quietly. "If this small cave contains such secrets, imagine what we might find in the larger sites. The predecessors left their entire legacy to humanity. The question is, why did they choose you?" Jai-Ho looked at his hand, then at the glowing machines around them. He had always thought of himself as just a regular person doing a simple job, but now he realized that being human made him special in ways no one had ever imagined. The cave hummed with energy, as if it was happy to be awake after its long sleep. Somewhere out in the galaxy, thousands of other sites were waiting for human hands to wake them up too. Ambassador Park Minna sat in the grand meeting hall of the Galactic Council, looking at the hundreds of alien representatives around her. The massive room was filled with tension. Earth's ability to activate predecessor technology had become the most important topic in galactic politics. "The humans must share this gift," demanded the representative from the Centauri Empire, his red eyes glowing with anger. "They cannot keep such power to themselves." Minna stood up slowly, her formal diplomatic uniform gleaming under the bright lights. "Earth understands the importance of this discovery," she said calmly. "We are willing to work with all species to study these sites. However, we will not allow humans to be used as simple tools." The room erupted in loud arguments. Some species supported Earth, while others demanded immediate access to human volunteers for their research programs. Minna remained standing, waiting for order to return. An elderly luminary named Vex spoke next. "The Council must consider the larger picture. If humans can control predecessor technology, they might activate weapons or dangerous devices by accident. Perhaps Earth should be carefully monitored until we understand more." Minna felt her heart beat faster, but kept her voice steady. "Are you suggesting that Earth should be quarantined, cut off from the rest of the galaxy?" "Only temporarily," Vex said. "For everyone's safety, of course." Back on Earth, Captain Lee Do-hyun was dealing with similar problems. Every day, more alien ships arrived in orbit, asking to study the cave site. Some offered trade deals, while others made veiled threats. "They're afraid of us now," Do-hyun said to Dr. Han Suji as they watched another alien ship land. "Not because we're dangerous, but because we can do something they can't." Suji nodded, looking at the data from their latest tests. "The predecessor technology responds to something in our brains, something unique to humans. We can't help being the only ones who can use it." In the Galactic Council, the debate continued. Minna listened as species after species expressed their concerns. Some worried that humans would become too powerful. Others wanted to study human DNA to find out what made them special. Earth has been part of this council for only 5 years, Minna reminded them. We are still learning about galactic society. We don't want power or control. We just want to understand this gift we've been given. A tall, tree-like alien spoke next. But what if the predecessors left dangerous weapons? What if humans activate them by mistake? That is why we invite other species to work with us. Minna answered, we need your knowledge and experience. But as partners, not masters. The debate lasted for hours. In the end, the council made no firm decisions, but Minna knew this was just the beginning. Earth's position in the galaxy had changed forever. That evening, she sent a message to Captain Lee. Be careful, she wrote. Some species will try to take what they want by force. Others will try to stop us from exploring more sites. We must be ready for both. As she looked out at the glittering lights of the galactic capital, Minna thought about how quickly everything had changed. Just 1 month ago, Earth had been a minor member of the galactic community. Now they were at the center of the biggest discovery in millions of years. The predecessors had chosen humanity for a reason. Soon, they would all find out why. Dr. Choi Ta-won stared at the screen of data in front of him. As Earth's leading quantum physicist, he had been studying the human brain's interaction with predecessor technology for weeks. Tonight, something finally made sense. This can't be right, he muttered, checking his calculations again. It's too simple. The laboratory was quiet at this late hour. Only a few alien scientists remained, including Ral from the Luminary. They had been working together, combining human and alien knowledge to understand the mystery. Dr. Choi, you seem troubled, Ral said, walking over to Taiwan's desk. Have you found something? Taiwan pointed to his screen. Look at these brainwave patterns from humans when they touch predecessor technology. Now look at these energy patterns from the devices themselves. Ral's blue skin glowed faintly as he leaned closer. They match perfectly, he said, his eyes widening. But how is this possible? It's quantum resonance, Taiwan explained. Human brains create a specific pattern at the quantum level. This pattern is exactly the same as the one used by predecessor technology. He brought up more data on the screen. We tested thousands of species. None of them have this pattern. Only humans. The news spread quickly. Within hours, Captain Lee Do-hyun and Dr. Han Soo-jae arrived at the laboratory. Ambassador Park Min-ae joined by video call from the Galactic Council. Are you saying the predecessors designed their technology to match human brain patterns? Min-ae asked. No, Ta-won said, shaking his head. I think they designed human brains to match their technology. They changed our DNA millions of years ago, giving us this specific quantum pattern. The room fell silent as everyone understood what this meant. Humans weren't just random creatures who happened to be compatible with predecessor technology. They had been created for this purpose. The predecessors must have known their civilization was ending, Ral said quietly. They chose early humans as their successors. They changed your ancestors so that one day you would be able to use their technology. Soo-jae looked at the ancient devices in the laboratory. They were planning for the future. Their future. Our future. Taiwan brought up a new set of data. There's more. Each time humans interact with their technology, the quantum connection gets stronger. We're not just using their devices. We're learning how to understand them naturally. Like learning a language, Do-hyun said. Exactly, Taiwan agreed. The more we use it, the better we understand it. The predecessors didn't just give us the ability to activate their technology. They gave us the ability to truly understand it. Ambassador Min-ae's face looked worried on the video screen. This information will change everything. Some species already fear us. When they learn that the predecessors chose humanity on purpose. We can't hide this, Taiwan said firmly. The truth will help everyone understand. This isn't random. This isn't unfair. This was planned millions of years ago by the most advanced civilization in history. As the others discussed what to do next, Taiwan looked at his data again. Somewhere in the past, an ancient species had looked forward in time and chosen humanity. Now, after millions of years, their plan was finally working. The real question was, what exactly had they planned for humanity to do? Security Chief Yoon Hae-nul stood in the control room of Earth's new defense center, watching the screens with growing concern. 30 alien ships had appeared near the moon without warning. They weren't answering any calls. "All stations, report status," she ordered, her voice firm and calm despite the tension. "Predecessor defense systems are active," reported her assistant. "All human operators are in position." In the month since Dr. Choi's discovery about human quantum patterns, Earth had been busy. They had found more predecessor sites around the planet, including a defense system buried under the Pacific Ocean. Hae-nul's team had learned to use it surprisingly quickly. The largest screen showed the alien ships moving closer. They were Crixian vessels, belonging to a species known for taking what they wanted by force. Ambassador Park Min-ah had warned them this might happen. "Chief Yoon," Captain Lee Do-hyun's voice came through the speaker. "The Galactic Council is not responding to our calls. We're on our own." Hae-nul nodded. "Understood, Captain. All defense stations, prepare for possible hostile action." The Crixian ships came closer. Suddenly, they launched smaller vessels toward Earth. The radar showed they were heading for major cities. "They're after human test subjects," Dr. Han Suji said from her station. "They want to study us, to find out how we connect to the technology." Hae-nul touched the control panel in front of her. Like all predecessor technology, it lit up under human hands. She could feel the connection Dr. Choi had described, like the technology was becoming part of her mind. "All stations, activate defense shields," she ordered. Across the planet, predecessor defense systems came to life. Shields of pure energy appeared over cities. The Crixian ships hit them and bounced off, unable to break through. "They're changing course," her assistant reported, moving to attack pattern. The alien ships opened fire. Energy weapons powerful enough to destroy cities hit Earth's shields, but the predecessor defenses held firm. Hae-nul placed both hands on her control panel. She didn't know exactly what to do, but somehow her mind knew. The quantum connection between human and machine grew stronger. Energy platforms rose from the oceans. They didn't fire weapons, but instead created a field that stopped the Crixian ships from moving. The attackers were trapped in space, unable to advance or retreat. "Incredible," Dr. Han whispered. "The defense system is completely non-violent. It stops attacks without hurting anyone." The Crixian ships hung helpless in space until Galactic Council peacekeepers finally arrived. As they took control of the situation, Hae-nul realized something important. Humans hadn't just learned to activate predecessor technology. They had learned to understand its purpose. "The predecessors weren't warriors," she said to Captain Lee later. "They were protectors. Their defense systems are meant to prevent violence, not cause it. And they trusted humanity with this power," Lee replied. "Maybe now we know why." News of the failed attack spread quickly through the galaxy. The images of humans easily controlling such powerful technology changed how other species saw Earth. Fear turned to respect. Threats turned to offers of friendship. The predecessors had given humanity great power, but they had also given them the wisdom to use it properly. This was only the beginning. Kang Mei sat alone in the translation room, surrounded by screens showing predecessor symbols. For 3 months, she had worked to understand their language. Today, something was different. The symbols were starting to make sense. "Dr. Han," she called through her communicator. "I think I found something important." Suji arrived quickly, followed by Captain Lee Do-hyun and Dr. Choi Ta-won. They gathered around Mei's main screen, where she had arranged the symbols in a new pattern. "After the attack, I noticed something," Mei explained. "When we used the defense systems, new symbols appeared. They weren't instructions. They were a message, waiting for us to be ready to understand it. She touched the screen, and the symbols began to glow. Like all predecessor technology, it responded to her human touch. But this time, the symbols changed into words they could read. To our children, Mayray read aloud, her voice shaking slightly. If you are reading this, you have begun to understand your inheritance. The room was completely silent as she continued reading. We are the ones you will call the predecessors. Long ago, we saw the end of our civilization approaching. Not through war or disaster, but through loss of purpose. We had gained too much power, too quickly. We had lost our way. We searched the galaxy for a species that could do better. We found your ancestors, early humans, who showed great potential. You were clever and creative, but most importantly, you understood the difference between having power and using it wisely. Captain Lee leaned forward. They chose us because of how we would use their technology, not just because we could use it. Mayray nodded and kept reading. We changed your DNA, giving you the ability to connect with our technology. But we also made sure this connection would grow slowly, only as you learned to understand it. You would need to develop wisdom before gaining power. The defense systems you have found are the first test. They show that you understand power should protect, not destroy. There is much more waiting for you among the stars. Cities, libraries, and wonders we built. All of them will awaken as you grow ready for them. Dr. Choi looked at his data about quantum patterns. That's why the connection gets stronger with use. We're not just learning to use their technology. We're proving we can use it properly. The final part of the message appeared. You are not our replacements. You are our children, grown now into your own people. Use our gifts wisely. Make them truly yours. Create wonders we never imagined. We are proud of what you will become. The room was quiet for a long time after Mayray finished reading. The message changed everything they had thought about the predecessors and their technology. We should share this with the Galactic Council, Captain Lee said finally. Everyone needs to understand why the predecessors chose humanity. They didn't choose us because we were special, Mayray said softly. They chose us because we could learn to be wise. That's what all these tests have been about. Sujai looked at the message again. And now we have a greater responsibility. We're not just using their technology. We're continuing their legacy, but in our own way. The symbols glowed softly on the screen, a message waiting millions of years to be read. The predecessors had given humanity more than just their technology. They had given them a purpose. Commander Song Jinwoo stood on the bridge of the Earth ship New Horizon, looking at the ancient city floating in space before them. The massive structure had waited here for millions of years, one of many predecessor sites humanity was now exploring. All teams report ready, his first officer announced. The Galactic Council observers are standing by. 6 months had passed since Kang Mayray discovered the predecessor's message. Everything had changed since then. Earth now led a joint mission with other species to study and activate predecessor sites across the galaxy. Begin approach, Jinwoo ordered. The ship moved slowly toward the city, its lights reflecting off the ancient metal surfaces. Dr. Han Sujai stood next to him, checking readings on her tablet. The city's power systems are starting to respond to our presence, she said. It can sense humans are near. The ship docked at the main entrance. Jinwoo led the first team inside, accompanied by both human and alien scientists. The dark corridors lit up as they walked, responding to human presence after millions of years of sleep. Remember what we learned, Jinwoo told his team. Don't rush. Let the connection grow naturally. The predecessors want us to understand, not just use. They reached the city's central control room. Jinwoo placed his hand on the main panel, feeling the familiar quantum connection form, but he didn't try to force anything. Instead, he let his mind slowly understand what the city needed. Power systems engaging, reported one of his officers. Living areas are preparing themselves. The city is waking up piece by piece. Ral, The luminary scientist, who had been with them since the first discovery, watched in amazement. In all our years of study, we never imagined the sites could be awakened so smoothly. You truly are their chosen successors. Not successors, Jin Wu corrected him, remembering the message. They're children. We're not here to replace them, but to learn from them and create something new. Over the next few days, they explored the city. Each human team was paired with alien scientists, sharing what they learned. The predecessor's technology was powerful, but it wasn't meant to be used alone. It worked best when different species worked together. "Commander," Sujai called one morning, "we found something interesting. The city's database doesn't just contain predecessor knowledge. It has empty sections waiting to be filled with new discoveries." Jinwoo smiled. They didn't want us to just preserve their knowledge. They wanted us to add to it. Back on Earth, training centers were teaching humans how to properly use their gift. It wasn't about gaining power quickly. It was about understanding the responsibility that came with it. The Galactic Council had changed too. Earth was now a respected member, helping create new laws about how predecessor technology should be studied and used. Other species no longer feared human abilities, but worked with them to explore this ancient legacy. As Jinwoo looked out at the vast city, now glowing with life again, he thought about how far they had come. The predecessors had given humanity an amazing gift, but the real gift wasn't the technology. It was the chance to help create a better future for all species. This was just the beginning of humanity's new journey among the stars, and they wouldn't be walking this path alone.